Shalom, family. This is Sister Yara. I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can be a more effective witness when it comes to sharing this truth in general, but specifically when it comes to sharing and being an effective witness about the holidays when they come up. I am so glad to be past this holiday season. I cringe every year when the fall rolls around, when October, November time frame starts to roll around, because I already know what I'm going to see. First of all, I cringe because I have a disdain for the holidays, and the falsity of all of it. But secondly, I know that there's going to be an onslaught of what I call truth bombs going off, and there's going to be a lot of casualties. Okay, so on one side of the equation, we have the casualties that are new Hebrews who are, new Hebrews who are zealous, and excited about the truth that they've learned, and wants everybody to know about it. And so they're going to be dropping truth bombs about the pagan origins of holidays, and dropping it on everybody that they can they can drop it on, whether it's online or in person. But then when it's not received well, they're going to get either angry or sad or upset. Some type of negative emotion is going to come out of it at the end of the day, because 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be received very well. And we'll talk about that. And so you have the casualties of new Hebrews that are upset, and that are dropping these bombs all over the place, and the effect of it is hitting them, because people are not responding well. And then on the other side, we have casualties of the poor, unsuspecting people, whether they're Christians or whatever the case may be, who are coming along just to wish them a happy whatever or merry whatever, and they get blown to smithereens by these truth bombs, and then they get added to the long list of people who want nothing to do with the truth, just because of their negative encounter that they've had with a Hebrew. So we add them to the casualty list on the other side. So this happens every year, that I've observed this since I've been in this truth or whatever. So I would love for us to move beyond truth bombing. So I just wanted to share some thoughts that hopefully will help to plant the seed to be able to do better. So now that the season is behind us, because during the season is not really the best time to try to convert people to your beliefs when they're in the midst of, baking their ham and shopping for Christmas gifts. It's not the best moment to try to drop truth bombs on people. You want to kind of nurture something longer term. So it's a sensitive thing to even talk about on both sides when you're in the midst of something. So now that the season is behind us and our own set apart days are ahead of us, I wanted to share a few thoughts to help us make next year, hopefully this next year, a better, safer, happier year. And most importantly, an effective year when it comes to our witness for the Most High and these truths that He's baraked us, that He's blessed us with to know, and to experience. Because, and moving on to my first thought, because mainly it's not about us. And that's thought number one. It's not about us. And that's something that we need to remember. This truth is not our truth. This is Yahuwah's truth. It's His truth. People who encounter us are not our people, even if they're our family. They're His people. Okay, they are people that He, if He's trying to draw them, that He's in a relationship with them, and trying to do the drawing, if He's doing so at all. Okay, He may have hardened a person's heart and not be drawing them at this time. So we have to remember that this in sharing truth, it's not about us. It's about Yahuwah. It's His truth. So we can't take it personal, and we can't get offended and be irritated when people don't want to listen to what it is that we have to share about this truth. Um, so because it's not about us, it also means it's not about our timing. It's all about Yahuwah's timing and when and how he wants to reveal himself to a person. So the time can't be now for everybody to hear just because the time, is now for us. It doesn't, that mindset is kind of like thinking that the world revolves around us. Just because we woke up, then everybody else got to wake up. Think about literally if you wake up early in the morning, and everybody else is asleep, and you get up and start hitting pots around and making a bunch of noise and waking up everybody else just because you're woke. Like, let everybody else sleep until it's their time to get up. Be mindful that if you were asleep, you would want to wake up in your time and not have somebody to wake you up against your will. And everybody that you're waking up, they're not happy because it's not according to whatever time that the Most High has set for that person. So, I can understand, in a lot of our mindsets, we're like, listen, the house is burning down. And if the house is burning down, I'm shaking everybody, waking them up and getting them outside. And to a certain extent, we are in that situation. But you cannot, you cannot spiritually, you can have a sense of urgency in sharing the truth. No, and I'm not saying that we don't share the truth. But what I'm saying is you cannot force feed someone with the truth. You have to allow the time to come up for the Most High to encounter them, just like the Most High encountered you. So that takes me to my next thought, which is that we have to remember that we were once completely blind to the truths that we now are aware of. Okay, so and and that should give us some humility, because some people just last Christmas, if just last Christmas you were doing Secret Santa, and just last Christmas you were dressed up as Mrs. Claus handing out cookies and milk, and just last Christmas you was buying hams and bringing it to the family gathering, was all up in it just last year, and now all of a sudden, one Christmas later, bless the Most High Yah that, you've come into the truth and have switched up, but remember that you too were just right there where other people are, that you didn't have the revelation that you have right now. So allow that to make you, that should make us humble and thankful, and understanding that we have to give people a chance to, to encounter the Most High for themselves. So have faith and trust in the Most High, that he, just the same way he orchestrated your life to get you to the place and the point to be able to receive this truth that you may have encountered years ago and not even flinched, not even thought about it, but at this moment in time where he revealed himself to you, that was when it was the appointed time. So allow people to have their appointed time. Plant the seed, but keep moving. So then also, if you were just all the way live celebrating these holidays and doing the opposite of what you're doing now just within the last year, you have to, now you're saying something completely different. You got truth bombs that you're throwing at everybody. You have to give people a chance to process and to accept your change first. Give people a chance to process that you've made a life change, and to accept that and to observe that, before you expect them to just jump right in and to catch the vision of what it is that you're trying to do, or what it is that you've moved on to. So allow that to happen. And that's important, because my next point is that information is not enough. Okay? Information, just because we share information with people, that's not enough for a change to come. Information needs revelation, in order for there to be conviction and for transformation to take place. Okay, so there has to be a revelation that comes with the truth that we get. So it's not just the information that you see. You see the information, you see, okay, but for it to really pierce you and to become truth to you, that involves you and cause you to want to move and do something different, there has to be a revelation that you get in conjunction with that information. There's an aha moment on the inside that's like, wait a minute, There's a revelation. There's something that the Most High, through His Spirit, reveals to you that causes you to be pricked at the heart, and enables you to be able to make whatever changes. And because the Spirit is walking with you, His Ruach is walking with you through that, because it's the appointed time. Okay, so, and that is the part that the Most High Yah does. We plant the seed, and sometimes the Most High will allow us to water the seed by giving that person our own personal revelation and sharing our own personal truth and revelation that we've gained, and that may help. But at the end of the day, the Most High is the one who adds the increase. Okay, so He adds the increase. He's the one that causes it to grow. So we can't force that, because that has nothing to do with us. So we can plant the seed. We may even water the seed, or someone else may water that seed. So we have to allow that process of growth to happen, and just trust in the validity of the word that is being shared. So don't keep expecting information. You think, okay, I posted it on my Facebook page. I don't know why they're not getting it. I told them, so I don't know why they're not getting it. Well, they're not getting it because they have to get a revelation for themselves. And that is what the Spirit of the Most High does. It gives us a revelation. That means to reveal something, within us, that causes us to grasp and move towards a change. Okay, so the next thing that I want to share is that we have to live out the truth that we've learned. Especially if you've just come into this, we have to actually start to practice and live out the truth that we've learned in a Spirit-led way, that will inspire people to want to know more. People have to be exposed to something a number of times sometimes before it catches their attention. That's why people that do marketing, you'll see ads everywhere, like commercials everywhere. They have to expose you to something numerous times for it to finally click in your head to say, wait a minute, let me check this out. So people have to be exposed to something in different seasons and different ways from different people sometimes, before it clicks. Sometimes you could say something to a person and it goes right over their head, and somebody else say the exact same thing and it clicks. Okay, we have to get ourselves out of the way, and not have so much ego or pride to think that people should listen because we said it. So we have to live out the truth that we've learned in a Spirit-led way, that inspires people to want to know more. So now that we're ahead of our feast days coming up, how about we spend this next year? We have 7 whole feast days coming up soon, and before we we have basically a whole year of feast days coming up before we get back to Christmas again. So we'll go through all our feast days before we get to the fall, Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all those things, and New Year's. So if we spend this next year seeking the Most High Yah, and getting and gaining understanding and revelation on the feasts that we keep, and trust me, each year that you go through this, you'll get more and more revelation and more understanding as you go through this this yearly cycle. So spend time developing whatever traditions and practices that you and your household are going to do to observe the feast day. Spend time focusing on that. Spend time learning about them. Spend time in His presence and live out the truth that you're so zealous about. Because it's more than just reframing from something. More than just, okay, I'm not participating in pagan holidays. It's also about engaging in Yah's ways and engaging in His days and what He has for us, and gaining from Him and understanding the things that He has for us. It's not just about refraining. Sometimes all people see is the fact that we don't do this or we don't do that, but they don't see you doing the things that are supposed to be so much light, and the things that they see you zealous for beating them down, but they don't see you zealous for the things of the Most High. So we have to be able to we have the opportunity now to for the next year, to do that. And somewhere in that process, over this next year, or maybe a year from the next year or the year after that, but somewhere in that process, the people around you will begin to see a light, if that's what you're walking and living. And those who have ears to hear and who have eyes to see, those who the Most High is drawing are going to be drawn to want to know more, to ask questions. Then they'll have an alternative to look at when you're making a comparison between what the world is doing with their holidays and what we're doing with in observing the Most High's holy days. So they'll have that alternative to look at, because a lot of times we want to tell people what they can't do, but then they don't have no alternative. We don't have no alternative to point them to. We take away the little light that they have, and then we don't leave them with any light. So it's easier to bash what's wrong, but it takes a real walk with the Most High to be able to walk out what's right in a way that is attractive to those who Yah is calling. And it will only be attractive to those who Yah is calling. But we're called to be that light and to walk it out in a way that is not a stumbling block to people that are seeking the truth. Okay, so that brings me to my next thought, which is that we should become so consumed with our own culture. We should become consumed with what the truths that the Most High is showing us, that we barely even know what's going on with the outside culture. Like we shouldn't even be so consumed with what people are doing when it comes to these holidays and all these things. I think a lot of times Hebrews, in all honesty, I think that especially in the beginning, that a lot of Hebrews are angry and being grumpy because they had to leave what they had been doing all their lives. When you new to this thing, and you zealous, but at the same time, deep inside, if you admit it, a lot of people are lonely. A lot of people are missing the fellowship they used to have, with family, friends, or whatever. And a lot of people are, it will cause you to lash out on people out of that energy, in that reality, more so, and not so much because you want them to see the truth. You want them to see the truth, but part of it is, man, I'm mad because, y'all are having fun in your ignorance, you know what I mean? And I can't participate because I know the truth, so, you're sitting on the bench, so you want them to come sit down on the bench too. So, that's not everybody's case, but I think that that's a lot of people's case. That's what it comes off as from a lot of people, as just being angry. Some people are angry because of, the lies that they learned, and they really want people to come out of it, but some people are angry because they're the only one in their environment that are seeing this truth, and now they're alone. So we don't want to come out of that type of energy and start beating other people down with the truth because of that. So we should be consumed with our own, because the Most High that's just information. The Most High didn't just come, if He's awakening you to the truth, He didn't just come and drop that truth bomb and that's it. The real truth that we should come to is Him. We should be so caught up in Him, in our walk with Him, in our relationship with Him, and all of the wonderful things in His Word that He's showing us, that we have a wonderful new experience to walk into. For some people coming into this Hebrew truth, they're thinking that the truth is just keep the Shabbat, don't do holidays, don't eat pork and seafood, and put on some fringes and wrap your head. And this is not, those are just small aspects, okay? No, that is not the whole truth. The awakening is of who you are in Him, and who He is, and learning who He is and how to be like Him on the inside, in our character, in our spirit, in our day-to-day mindsets, so it's enough to keep you consumed, so we have to get off the bench and go get involved in what Yah is calling us to. What is your spiritual gift? What is your assignment? What is it that He has for you to do? Be caught up in that, and then get caught up in really understanding the days and stuff that we are to keep in the different aspects of our culture, and when we get consumed with that, it takes our minds to a whole different place. And if it's really as good as what we're saying, then we'll be so consumed with that we won't care about the pagan stuff that's going on around us. It'll be a side note. It'll be like, oh, what's going on? It's Christmas, it's this, and it'll be a side note. And I understand that it's harder when you have family and you have a lot of family or things that you're connected to that is constantly in your face. But it really, like, we don't have a right to be as agitated as we are when we were just engaging in these things, and when we still have things that we're engaged in that the Most High is trying to deliver us from. Like, we really can't be self-righteous about these things. We have to really check our spirit and check our attitudes, and figure out why. The Most High should be agitated. He sees everything. The Messiah should have been agitated. He had his moments, but he was able to walk despite the things that were going on. It may have grieved him, or it may have moved him to do certain things, like overthrow the temple. But he had more of a right than we have, and he wasn't going ham and throwing truth bombs all over the place. He was strategic. So that's my next point is we have to allow wisdom to guide us on how to reach people in a strategic way. The scriptures say that he who wins souls is wise. The more that that we grow in joy and in patience and in humility and in thankfulness to the Most High Yah, we'll begin to grow in love, and then we'll desire to truly want to be effective. When we're in our flesh, we have no patience. We just want to go and throw some truth bombs all over the place. We have no leading of the Ruach. We don't have no self-control, but we just out here just doing stuff, and we're turning people off, and we're becoming a stumbling block. And the Most High is we're in the way, of the Most High versus, being a gatherer. We're scattering instead of gathering. You know what I mean? So we're in the way, and we think that we're being helpful. Then the Most High has to shut us down, and things start happening in our lives, and we're wondering what's going on. So we have to really be in tune. We have to be in tune with how he wants us to share. Like, some of us are called to be teachers. Not everybody's called to be a teacher. So some people are trying to teach and they're not called to be a teacher. We're all called to share truth, but you have to know your lane and know to what degree he desires you to do so. So we have to follow him with every footstep of the way. We have to follow him and be led by his spirit. We can't just go saying whatever we want to say. We can't go doing whatever we want to do. We have to be led by the Ruach. But the spirit will begin to make you wise as you grow in your relationship with the spirit, and you will become more effective at how to handle these seasons when they come up. He'll show you how to handle these seasons when somebody comes and wishes you a Merry Christmas, or whatever the case may be, or when activities are going on around you. He'll show you how to engage people in a way that doesn't compromise you, and that doesn't compromise your beliefs, but also doesn't condemn and alienate everybody around you and cause you to be ineffective. So he'll work with you based on your personality. Your personality and my personality may be different. If you may be, he deals with you according to how he designed you, but he's going to also always deal with you according to a righteous character and a righteous posture and attitude and a righteous spirit. So his desire is for us to be a light and not a stumbling block. So we have to allow wisdom to guide us on how to be strategic in winning souls, or winning people to the truth, and being effective at sowing those seeds and watering seeds that other people have sown, and be patient to allow the Most High Yah to add that increase. So I pray that something in this video has edified you and has helped in some way, because it's my desire for us to get to a point as a people where we're not going through these same cycles every year and going through these emotional things where we're unhappy. We're just as unhappy as the people that are in the world, and then we are not being effective lights. We're undoing the work that the Most High is trying to do, and I know that it is not our desire to do so. If you're zealous about the truth, then you desire people to know the truth. So we have to position ourselves to be effective witnesses for the Most High Yah, and to move beyond truth bombing, in that being what we're known for as Hebrews, but be known as being people that are full of the Spirit, full of the Ruach, in lights that are magnetic and drawing people to desire to know the things of the Most High Yah. So I pray that this has been edifying to you, and I will see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll be sharing more videos there soon. Shalom.